Hello YouTube, Ted the Tower Gardener here, and today we're going to talk about selecting the proper seeds for your tower garden. Now if you don't know what a tower garden is, it's a vertical aeroponic growing system that looks just like that. There's 3 of them actually, and you can grow all your own fruits and vegetables from the comfort of your own balcony, or really anywhere honestly. So we're going to talk today about how you maximize the types of seeds that you purchase for the tower garden. You see I have quite a selection here. When you're selecting seeds for the tower garden, you should look for varieties that take less time to maintain and actually give you more food by poundage at the end of your harvest. Now when I look for seeds for the tower garden, I'm actually looking for a couple things. I like to see the word early. I like to look at the number of days until harvest, usually under 80. I look for vining fruiting plants or squash that have smaller fruits but produce more of them. I look for vines that produce in clusters instead of along the vine. And I look for greens that are lower bolting or which can tolerate heat. So to give you guys a number of examples of really good varieties to plant in the tower garden, we're going to start with this Space Master cucumber. Now on the packet, it listed as a slicing type cucumber that takes 60 days to mature. The lemon cucumber takes 65 days. Now both of these are going to utilize a shorter vine with closer spaced internodes, closer spaced flowers, and closer spaced fruit eventually. They're also going to take a lot less time than, say, your Market More cucumbers, which can take up to 85 days. In terms of pumpkins and squash, I like the early yellow crookneck squash. I have some growing in my tower garden right now. It only takes 50 days to get a harvestable squash from it. It's totally amazing. The Jack P. Little pumpkin is a tiny pumpkin that only gets to be 3 or 4 inches in diameter, but it produces a lot of pumpkins per vine. It only takes 100 days to mature. The Sugar Pie pumpkin takes 100 days to mature as well. It's slightly bigger, you get a little bit less, but the flavor's amazing. This is what they make condensed pumpkin pie filling out of, if not sweet potatoes. Watermelons. You could definitely grow watermelons on the tower garden. It's going to take you 75 days. I get this kind called the Sugar Baby watermelon. It really is quite sweet. Looks like a little green cannonball. And the leaves aren't that big either. The Minnesota Midget cantaloupe was hybrid bred to have a shorter grow season, only 70 days. And it was bred for a cooler climate. I got these 2 peppers. Well, number 1, see our buzzword early jalapeno pepper. It only takes 65 days to get a crop from this, and only 60 days with the Hungarian wax pepper. Now, you remember when I was saying you should buy things that are cluster in vines? A good example of this would be the Tumbler hybrid tomato and the Glacier bush tomato. It's only 55 days from transplanting your seedling till you start to get Glacier tomatoes, and only 50 days for the Tumbler hybrid tomatoes to start making these beautiful cherry tomatoes. Now, working with the tomato cage on the tower garden, these beautiful bush tomatoes can just layer over the cage, and it's really a beautiful sight to see. Let's move on to our greens. I've got some types of kale here. Blue curled Scotch kale, lacinato kale, and red Russian kale. And all of these basically take about 50 days to harvest. Maybe a little bit less. You can start harvesting at probably day 30 with these kales, and they will be actually nice and sweet and kind of a baby variety. Beans are incredibly fast on the tower garden. I planted some snow peas and I started harvesting within 30 days. These Royal Burgundy beans and the Garden Stringless Burpee green beans, those take in between 50 and 60 days. It says 55 there on the Royal Burgundy bean. And they grow great on the tower garden as well. If you get the bush kind, they're even better because they take up less space and they don't climb over all your other plants. Totally awesome. And of course, everyone knows the tower garden already because it grows greens like amazingly. It's totally amazing for greens. So Viraflay spinach is a type that I've seen other tower gardeners garden with. I actually haven't planted this seed yet. I haven't planted it, but it's supposed to be ready in 28 to 50 days, which means in the tower, these are all soil estimates, these day counts on these packets, which means in the tower garden, it'd probably take less than that. For cilantro, coriander, not only is this one incredibly prolific, you can basically continually harvest this for months and months and months on end. It'll just keep growing. Swiss chard, Grand Rapids leaf lettuce. Leaf lettuce I prefer to grow in the tower garden as opposed to head lettuce because you can just keep picking. It'll just keep producing leaves. So I've got 2 types, the Grand Rapids leaf lettuce and the Red Sales leaf lettuce. Both of these have had amazing success growing on the tower garden. And I have a couple other different types, which I have had success on. Beautiful. So those are some examples of the types, specifically, of crops that you can grow on the tower garden very easily and get a high yield with very little time or effort. So I made a little chart here to show you all by category how long it takes to harvest, time till your first picking on the tower garden. This is from seed till harvest. Some people do the calculation from planting it in the tower garden, but I'm actually doing this from seed. So you saw the day count on the seed packets. Those are made for soil. These estimates are based on my experience and based on a couple resources from the tower garden community. Greens, 30 to 60 days. Peppers, 50 to 80 days. Tomatoes, 60 to 100 days. Eggplant, 50 to 70 days. Beans, 40 to 50 days. And pumpkins and squash, 60 to 100 days. It all depends on the type that you get. So that's all I've got on this video tonight. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any comments, just leave them in the comment section below. And like, rate, and subscribe. Ted the Tower Gardener. See you later.